Hello, this video is going to introduce Project 4, which is the final project in this course, and you will be kind of bringing everything that you've been working on to date into this final recipe book project. This is actually quite a big project, but everything that we've done up to this point has sort of prepared you for setting up InDesign files, setting up tables, bringing Photoshop documents into InDesign, bringing Illustrator art into InDesign. So I think while this might feel a little bit daunting, I think that you're going to realize that it's a really awesome project for you guys to have to sort of end this course on Design+ applications. So as you can see, these are some examples of recipe book spreads. This is not exactly this project. It's something that I did in a previous school that I taught at, but you can still see that there's the cheesecake recipe. This one has mashed potatoes. I'm not sure if we have mashed potatoes in our recipe, but you can see there's the recipe title, the ingredients set up in a table, then the directions, and then the photograph. So each recipe is going to be one spread. So you will be creating a multi-page document in InDesign, and this is going to be the Thanksgiving recipe book. So you'll use the front and back cover that you did in Project 3. So those will sort of be the elements that guide you as you begin to work on the inside pages of your book. So you should still stick with color palette. You should stick with the typeface choices. You can, as you start designing this, make a little bit of changes to your cover and back cover if you wanted to, based on how it all looks together, but that's at least going to give you a good start. So technically you already have 2 pages of the 12-page book already designed. So the things you want to think about, and of course we're going to start with sketches and we'll go over that at a later date, but what you want to start thinking about is organization and how are your recipes going to look? How is it going to look from page to page? How are you going to keep things consistent and cohesive? One of the things is, obviously your typefaces will be the same. From recipe to recipe, your color choices will be the same, even sort of the way you treat your imagery, which you can kind of see in these books. So I just showed you one spread from each of these projects, but each recipe would look very similar and be styled quite the same way. So I have provided you, I've done some work for you, and I have provided you with the photographs and the recipes. So all the text is in this folder, as well as some photographs. You don't have to use the photographs I've given you, but sometimes I feel like, this is really an example of a real world project in which you would be asked to design a recipe book, but the recipes and photos would be provided to you as a graphic designer. So you want to think about, read through here and think about the different things you want to think about. You want to think about organization. As you begin, especially even with your sketches, your sketches will be a little bit different, but you're basically going to set paragraph styles. You're going to set a headline style, a subhead style, body text style, and to do that, you really want to start working on the longest recipe. So the recipe that has the most text in it, so that once you set and make all your decisions for that longest recipe, then you'll set up style sheets, which the LinkedIn Learning videos will go over all of this with you, but you'll set up style sheets and then it becomes a little bit easier to set up the rest of the recipes. So I'm not going to read through this for this introduction, but you want to read through all of the requirements. This is a pretty long project, but I'm going to make a couple more videos that just kind of help you get started as far as setting up your documents. I'll also have LinkedIn Learning videos that you'll watch that'll go over paragraph style, character styles, all that kind of stuff, and then I'll also show you on my end how to set those things up. But just this is the initial introduction to the project, so make sure you read through everything, and definitely make sure if you have any questions that you reach out and ask. This will be the last thing that we're working on, but it's still, because this is an accelerated course, things are going to be moving pretty quickly, so it's best to ask questions at the start. But I really look forward to kind of bringing everything you've worked on together into one final project, and this will make a really great project for you guys to have in your future portfolio.